What's up, everybody? In this video, I want to be doing a pass the draft video for the Houston Texans. Going to kind of be, reviewing all the moves they did in the offseason and also be doing a 3-round mock draft from Pro Football Network. So let's go ahead and get started. The Houston Texans, to me, had by far the most underrated free agency of any team in the NFL. They had just so many moves that just were not talked about much, and I feel like the moves that they did this offseason could really help their future. They just signed several guys that I think, could be really great for Houston right now, but, in years to come. So they signed Dalton Schultz to a 1-year deal worth $9 million. Schultz was by far the best tight end in the market. They get him on a 1-year deal. I get another target for maybe C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, whoever the quarterback of the future is going to be. They signed Devil Singletary. I really like that signing. Pair him with Pierce. That's a great running back duo in the backfield for Houston. They signed Denzel Perryman and they signed Corey Littleton to 1-year deals. Both of these guys kind of getting up there in age, but I like this signing because, they can kind of have a mentorship role for some of the younger linebackers for Houston. Littleton, Perryman, they've kind of been around the league for a while. So I like that signing there, getting some veteran guys for this young Houston team here. They signed Noah Brown to a 1-year deal. And I like this signing a lot. Noah Brown had a career high, literally everything last year with Dallas. He was under the radar wide receiver free agent heading into the offseason. And the Houston signs him, gets some more wide receiver help that they desperately needed heading into the offseason. They signed defense tackle Sheldon Rankins. I love this signing. When you look at D'Amico Ryans, when he's had a great defense, and with San Francisco, they've always had good defensive linemen. They have their great defensive lineman here in Sheldon Rankins. They signed Jimmy Ward, the safety, to a 2-year deal. I love this signing because of familiarity with D'Amico Ryans and Jimmy Ward. I feel like they had a big part of Ward coming to Houston. Get a guy you already coached before, buying into your system. I love that deal for Houston. That's probably my favorite signing for Houston, or them signing Robert Woods. Robert Woods has been one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL, really ever since he came into the NFL. And, he's just year in and year out, he's had great years. And they signed him to a 2-year deal, getting some more weapons for Houston that they desperately need at wide receiver. But I absolutely love what the Houston Texans did in the offseason. I feel like they really attacked the positions that they need. And, it's going to be very interesting to see how the draft plays out, because you have a feeling who they might take at number 2. But doing this through our mock draft here from Pro Football Network, I have the Houston Texans taking Bryce Young, the quarterback of Alabama, with the 2nd pick overall. I know some Houston fans may want to see C.J. Stroud. I think he's going number 1 to Carolina. I think Bryce Young, I would take him over Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson is just too big of a question mark, in my opinion. He has potential, but I would rather take Bryce Young. You know what you're going to get. Bryce Young right now is much more proven and better than Richardson. And when you have Young, you're already giving him, some weapons, and, Noah Brown, Robert Woods. Look at some of these other guys like Dalton Schultz. I feel like Young could really be the quarterback of the future for Houston and easily be their best quarterback since drafting Deshaun Watson. And look at some of these other draft picks here. Like I said, the Texans have the 2nd pick overall. They also have the 12th pick overall. And with this selection, I had them getting Jordan Addison. I know heading into the offseason, wide receiver was arguably the biggest need for Houston. And they kind of, have that down the list now because by getting Brown and Robert Woods. But I feel like they could still use a little bit more wide receiver help. Getting Jordan Addison here will be a tremendous draft selection here by the Texans. Addison had a down year this past year with USC. He had 8 touchdowns, 875 yards, and 59 receptions. But when you look at the 2021 year with Pittsburgh, he had 100 receptions, nearly 1,600 yards, and 17 touchdowns. He was absolutely phenomenal that year. He's probably going to be the best wide receiver here at the 12th pick. He's going to be one of the best players available. I would expect him to be picked around the 12 to 16 range. Houston takes him here with the 12th pick. I like this draft choice here a lot by Houston. Looking at the 2nd round here, I still feel like they can maybe get another defensive tackle or 2. I had them getting Kalijah Kancey, the defensive tackle from Pittsburgh. I love this draft choice here. Kancey's projected to go around, the late 20s, early 30s. This is probably about where he'll go. 33rd pick overall, the 1st pick in the 2nd round. With D'Amico Ryans being a defensive-minded coach, I would not be surprised at all if, after the 1st round happens, if Houston maybe goes defensive heavy in the 2nd or 3rd round, depending on who's available. But I love this choice here by getting Kalijah Kancey. Pairing him up with Sheldon Rankins is a great defensive tackle duo for Houston. In the 3rd round here, the Houston Texans have 2 third-round picks. With the first third-round pick, they take Bowling Green edge rusher Carl Brooks. Carl Brooks is so freaking underrated. If he played at Ohio State, Alabama, he'd be a first-round pick. For his career, he has over 45 tackles for loss. He has over 25 sacks. He's just been a great player his whole career at Bowling Green. This is probably going to be one of the best players available here for Houston. You should always draft best player available. They're getting more help on their defense, getting a great guy here with Carl Brooks with a 65th pick overall. And like I said, the Houston Texans have 2 third-round picks, and with their second third-round pick, I love this draft choice. They take Cincinnati linebacker Ivan Pace Jr. with the 73rd pick overall. He was absolutely a monster last year for Cincinnati. He had over 120 tackles. He had over 20 tackles for loss, had over 5 sacks. He was a beast for the Bearcats. He was a big reason why Cincinnati had a great defense these past couple of years. But when you're looking at the Houston Texans, they had by far the most underrated offseason. They're going to get their quarterback of the future, whether it's C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, or Anthony Richardson. If Houston's draft pans out like I have it right here, Houston could have a very, very bright future. Like I said, they had a great offseason signing guys like Dalton Schultz, Robert Woods, Jimmy Ward, so many other guys as well. And with this 3-round mock draft here from Pro Football Network, they draft Bryce Young, they draft Jordan Addison, the wide receiver from USC. They draft Kalijah Kancey, the defensive tackle from Pittsburgh. They also draft Bowling Green edge rusher Carl Brooks and Cincinnati linebacker Ivan Pace Jr. It'll be very interesting to see how Houston, their draft philosophy works because they signed so many team needs in the offseason. But that about does it for this video. Comment your thoughts on the Houston Texans offseason. Comment if you want Houston to draft. If you're new to the channel or if you've seen my videos before, I would really, really appreciate it if you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time on the Sports Stu Hines Show.